By the time Davina understood what was happening, it had already been happening for years. That is how most realizations arrive. Quietly, without permission, without drama. It wasn't one big moment. It was many small ones. Like the way she no longer rushed to tell people good news. The way she rehearsed conversations that never happened. The way silence stopped feeling empty and started feeling safe. Davina used to think growth would feel like expansion. Like becoming louder, braver, more visible. But growth, she learned, often feels like subtraction. Less explaining. Less hoping people will change. Less waiting for permission to be yourself. She didn't wake up one day wiser. She woke up tired. Tired of misunderstanding herself. Tired of carrying words that were never spoken. Tired of adjusting her truth to make others comfortable. There are lessons life teaches gently. And there are lessons life waits to teach you until you have no strength left to resist them. Davina was learning the second kind. She began to notice how often she said, "It's okay," when it wasn't. How often she smiled to avoid questions. How often she blamed herself for things that were never hers to carry. Nobody taught her how to do this. She learned it by surviving. Some people learn how to fight. Some learn how to leave. Davina learned how to endure. And endurance, she discovered, has a cost. The cost is time. The cost is voice. The cost is parts of yourself you don't even realize you're losing. She used to believe that being understanding was the same as being strong. That forgiving quickly meant you were mature. That staying quiet meant you were peaceful. But peace built on silence is not peace. It's postponement. Postponement of truth. Postponement of healing. Postponement of yourself. Davina started to grieve something she couldn't name at first. It wasn't a person. It wasn't a place. It was the version of herself that believed effort would always be enough. That, if she loved deeply, explained clearly, waited patiently, she would eventually be met halfway. Some lessons arrive only after disappointment has repeated itself enough times to become undeniable. She remembered moments that felt small back then. A message never replied to. A feeling brushed aside. A boundary crossed with a laugh. At the time, she told herself she was being sensitive. Now she understood she was being honest and choosing not to listen. Davina realized something uncomfortable. The hardest lessons are not about other people. They are about the agreements we make with ourselves. The agreement to stay when we should leave. The agreement to remain silent when our chest is heavy with words. The agreement to accept crumbs while convincing ourselves it's a meal. No one forces us into these agreements. We sign them quietly, hoping they will expire on their own. They don't. They only end when we choose differently. Davina didn't become bitter. She became clear. Clear about what drained her. Clear about what felt heavy. Clear about what she could no longer pretend not to see. Clarity doesn't shout. It settles. It sits with you in the quiet and says, "You know now." And once you know, you can't unknow. She stopped asking for understanding from people who never listened. Stopped shrinking to fit into rooms that never made space for her. Stopped confusing history with obligation. This didn't make her fearless. It made her honest. There is a loneliness that comes with learning too late. Not because you failed, but because you stayed longer than you should have. Davina felt that loneliness. She let it sit beside her. She no longer rushed to fill the silence. Some lessons are not meant to be rushed past. They are meant to be carried. Not as wounds, but as wisdom. And as she sat there, quieter than before, but more grounded than ever, Davina understood something that would change everything that followed. Not everything you lose is a loss. Some things leave because they've taught you all they can, and some lessons arrive late, only because you weren't ready to hear them sooner. If this story felt familiar, you are not alone. Some lessons arrive late, but they still arrive for a reason. Subscribe to Davina Quiet Stories. Like, comment, and share. Someone you know may need this story too. And if you're still listening, the next chapter is already waiting.